Welcome to the Zen Gateway Talks. The mindfulness of the body. And again, monks, a monk when going knows I am going. When standing he knows I am standing. When sitting he knows I am sitting. When lying down he knows I am lying down. Or he knows any other positions of the body. Thus he dwells practicing body contemplation on the body, internally or externally, or both internally and externally. He dwells contemplating origination factors in the body, or he dwells contemplating dissolution factors in the body, or he dwells contemplating both origination and dissolution factors in the body, or his mindfulness that there is a body is established in him to the extent necessary for knowledge and mindfulness. Independently he dwells, clinging to nothing in the world. Thus indeed a monk dwells practicing body contemplation on the body. And so we continue with our series of talks on the Satipatthana Sutta from the Pali Canon, also known as the Four Foundations of Mindfulness or Four Foundations of Mindful Awareness. And this is the sutra or the sutta, the scripture that reminds us that this is what the Buddha taught as regards the actual practice, the how to practice Buddhism, how to walk the Buddha's path, how to develop meditation and what's commonly called mindfulness. And again, we dealt with this word mindfulness previously, although it's become very popular now to actually use it. We need to be careful because this term is a translation of the term sati, which forms the title Satipatthana, Foundations of mindfulness. This term sati actually refers to the immanent sense of awareness in the body. My own teacher used to say, look, just pinch yourself in the soft part of the arm. Go on, just actually pinch yourself. That sensation that arises, do we need to actually think to ourselves, oh, that's a pinch in the arm in order to feel it or not? Do we need to think that or not in order to feel it? And of course the answer is no, we don't. It arises automatically, and it arises automatically in awareness. And immediately and immanently. And this is what the sati refers to. The problem with the term mindfulness is that our minds are very full already. So there's this sort of commentator, isn't there, who is commentating on what is happening. Is that's a pinch? And that pinch has now stopped. That's a commentary on the sati, on the actual awareness of it. So it's what Nyaponika Mahatera, whose translation we're actually using of this particular scripture, the Satipatthana Sutta, what he calls bare attention. And that term bare attention is still quite popular in Theravadan circles, and it's a good description of the experience itself, that subjective experience of the immanence of now, here, and the present moment. So anyway, we'll be looking at that in more detail here because we've come to the first of those four foundations, which is contemplation of the body, as is our quote. And this translation, this term body, is a translation of the term rupa, R-U-P-A. And this term rupa refers to the physical form. And quite often Buddha statues in temples are called Buddha rupa. And it refers to, again, to that physical form, which may be made of metal or wood or stone or clay. And that Buddha Rupa refers to that physical manifestation. And Rupa also refers to the physical body. So our own physical body is Rupa. And also the physical sense bases, the eye, the ear, the nose, the tongue, and the body as organ of tactile sensations are also referred to as rupa. and thus the physical world that they perceive as well. Shapes and colours, sounds, tastes, tactile sensations, smells, and so on. Those 5 physical senses are also part of the rupa, rupa dhatu. As it's called, dhatu meaning the world, is the physical world, the world of physical forms. So this is what rupa actually means, and rupa is thus the object of awareness, the object of contemplation for this first foundation in the development of awareness, the development of sati or mindful awareness. So the first question perhaps is, if this is the first of the 4 foundations, is there a reason that it's the first? Yes, is the answer. And that is because the physical world is something that we are already contextualized in. It's immediate and imminent with us. And again, rather like that pinch in the arm, its presence is always with us whilst we are alive and whilst we are conscious or wakeful. Then the physical world is always there in us, and it's the same with the body. And when we begin to practice sitting meditation, Zazen, for example, the most usual one that we are given is a meditation on the breath of one sort or another, and there are various types of meditation on the breath. But the point is the breath becomes the basis for sitting meditation. So it's a physical process again that becomes the anchor and the focus for attention, the focus for the practice of awareness. And there's a reason for this, and that is that our sickness, if you like, is that we are very stuck in the head, i.e. we're swirling around with thoughts, we're thinking about this and that, daydreaming, long thought trains and so forth. And the involvement, the absorption in those thought streams tends to take us away from the present moment into fantasies about the past and the future, and probable futures, and what we like and what we don't like and so forth, and how we create all sorts of scenarios that become quite obsessive. And this split from the present moment, which is a sort of form of duality, is inevitably sort of pivoted on the thought bundle or thought complex that makes up myself. What's going to happen to me, what happened in the past to me, what will happen in the future, what I like, what I don't like, what I think of it, and my opinions and so forth. All those things remove me, rather like when we pinched ourselves in the arm and there was that commentator, who was saying, this is a pinch, this is what's being talked about in the Satipatthana, blah, 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 blah. This carries us away. It causes us to be separate from the living moment, the living experience, which is happening in and through the body. And one of the things we discover in Buddhist practice, and certainly in Zen practice, is that there's a great deal of emphasis on physical training, meditation itself, whether seated or whether in activity. And if you look at the people in a Zen temple or a Zen monastery, they spend a lot of time in physical activity. And that's deliberate. It forms part of the training, because what they're learning is to be at one with what the body is doing. Instead of being apart and commentating upon what the body is doing, like a sports commentator commentating on the activity on the pitch or the field, we're actually learning to be present at one in the body. Hence, when we're sitting on our meditation seat, we are at one with the breath, and when we are sweeping, we are at one with the sweeping, or at one with the making of the bed, or at one with the mopping the floor, or doing the washing up, or tidying up, or polishing or dusting or whatever. And I have to say, in temples, there's a lot of cleaning that goes on in the temples. Cleaning is a major part, and it has a symbolic resonance, and it has a very literal, immanent resonance as well. And those two things very much go together. And this is why the body is that it has that primary emphasis placed on it, because in the body there is no thinking. If we go back and pinch ourselves in the arm again, is there a thought in that pinch? Well, we've already said there's no thought necessary for that pinch to exist. I mean, I can think about it in retrospect or even whilst it's going on, but that thinking itself is not essential to the awareness of the sensation of the pinch itself. So the sensations of the body as felt, as we actually experience them now. I don't know whether you're standing and walking or whether you're sitting in a chair or whatever, but right now, just come back into the body, and feel your feet on the floor, and if you're behind on the seat, or the sensation of the sun on your skin, or the sensation of your clothes on your body. The sensation of my voice speaking at this moment, the sound of this voice as well. Look around the place where you are. Look at something, look at it in detail. Is there any thinking necessary for that? Now, again, for that sensory impression to come in, whether of shape or color, of sound, of tactile sensation, of smell, for example, temperature on the skin, all those things are immediate and in the present moment. And this is the wonderful thing about the body. This is why the sensations of the body, such as breathing or walking, are used as foci of meditation and mindfulness and development of awareness, of sati, because they are always bringing us back into the present moment. And so it's such a good anchor and such a powerful anchor. We can really practice that. And I remember, when I was first introduced to this practice, what's called daily life practice, which is this development of awareness in daily life through giving ourselves wholeheartedly into the body and what it's doing. This was something that I really enjoyed because it was something so clear to be able to practice. A lot of Buddhism talking about Four Noble Truths and so forth, it always had a slightly sort of, I couldn't quite get a handle on. So fine, that's all very good, Four Noble Truths, 3 Signs of Being and so on. But what am I supposed to be doing now, right now, to be called, a Buddhist practitioner, to be a Buddhist practitioner in this moment? What is it I'm supposed to be doing? And so the body is great because that tells us being at one with the body. Now, interestingly, note how it's phrased here, and it's very clear. It says, the monk when going knows, I am going. When standing knows, I am standing. When sitting knows, I am sitting. Now, we need to be really careful about that pronoun, I, because we've already had this. This isn't the sports commentator who internally is now saying, oh, I am sitting in a chair with my legs crossed, or I am now uncrossing my legs and standing up. This isn't a sports commentary on it, for the same reason that the pinch in the arm is not the same as the comment, oh, that's a pinch in the arm. The second one is a thought about the sensation, and the first is the actual sensation itself. The point is that, and this is something that we have to practice, we have to try and get into, and this is something that actually can't be taught in the same way that you can't teach somebody to balance on a bike. You can tell somebody how to get on a bike and the mechanics of how to push off and to pedal and so forth, but the actual skill of balancing, you just have to do it yourself until you get it right. No one can actually teach you that because it's a body-based skill, and awareness of the body is a body-based skill as well. So that's just the way it is. However, there is, if we come into the body, if we come into that subjective feel of the body, so that we take a breath and we feel the sensation of the breath, and we feel the sensation of the feet on the floor, then there is an awareness of being in the body. And where it says here, so about sitting, standing, lying down, walking, these are classically known as the 4 positions, there is a body feeling that knows that right now at the moment I'm sitting. And when I'm standing, it knows I'm standing. And when it's walking, it knows that the walking is going on as well. It's an energic value, what I call it's a sense of, as it were, the body's energy. And the body's energy and the body's awareness are two sides of the one coin. So as the body moves, there's a sort of energic sensation. There's a sort of flowing sensation, and as the postures change from standing to sitting, or from sitting to standing, and from standing to walking, or from standing to lying down, and so forth, the energy, the awareness and the sensations and the energy, the whole thing, as it's felt and experienced subjectively, changes. There's a change in the quality, as well as the actual physical orientation. So when it says later on, when it says he dwells practicing body contemplation on the body internally or externally, or both internally and externally, then the external is the actual, what the physical body is doing. So he's aware of what the physical body is doing, the monk, but he's also aware at the same time internally of what the sensation is within the body. So not only does he see and feel the body externally, but internally he's aware of that sort of energic change as well. You know, for example, if you stroke your arm with your other hand, if you stroke that, there's a certain, just as you get into the rhythm of it, the hand that's actually doing the stroking, there's an internal rhythm to it, yeah? If you allow that to be. And if you do it very hard, and then if you do it very gently, there's a difference in quality to that movement, how it's actually felt. So you can see it externally, and you can also feel it internally. So in the same way that if you closed your eyes, you can still continue to do it. You can open your eyes and watch yourself doing it, which is seeing it externally. You can close your eyes and just go purely on the internal sensation of it, in the movement and in the arm and the hand. So this is, it's a subtle difference, but it's an important one, and it's the whole thing. So important to really sort of get that in. Now, to establish that it's the sensation in the body, because with that there comes an awareness of the body in space. And with that sensation of the body in space, there's also a sense that in the body itself, there is a quietness, and that quietness becomes established the more at one with the body that we become. So when we're practicing walking meditation, and perhaps this is something we deliberately go out and do, go out, take a walk for half an hour, for the purposes of establishing contemplation of awareness in the body, and really just be at one with the body. I mean, obviously you'll see yourself walking as you can be walking and see yourself walking externally. You can also feel what it's like as well. You can feel internally the rhythm of it, and you'll notice that both of those, both the external sensations and the internal sensations, are arising in this space. They're arising in this space that we call awareness, and the objects of awareness, whether internally or externally, become visible, so to speak, as we become aware. So the awareness and the spaciousness, or should I say the spaciousness, is a quality of the awareness itself. Let me say that again. The quality of spaciousness is a quality of the awareness itself. The more established the awareness becomes, the greater the sense of spaciousness. And the objects of awareness arise and pass away within that spaciousness, within that spacious capacity of the awareness. So when it goes on then to talk about origination and dissolution factors, what it's talking about is things arising, things passing away. So for example, if we're walking and then we stop, then there's a passing away of the walking sensation and there's an arising of the standing sensation. And once we lie down, then there's a dissolution of the standing sensation and an arising of the lying down sensation. So it's about being not grasping at a particular sensation either, but being at one with the transformation of the flow of this energic quality or value as we move through times, from sitting, standing, walking, lying down. So it's quite a skill. Obviously, and something that is cultivated, over time. But once that has been established, once we are more at home within the body, once we are more given in wholeheartedly and at one with, this is the samadhi, the at oneness with the body, both internally and externally, then we are becoming more aware, we can become more aware of what else is arising in the body. And these other things that are arising are what are known as the three psychological or mental factors, which form the remaining three foundations of mindfulness. But we'll leave those for another talk and leave that for now. Thank you.